The ancient world generally refers to the period of human history following the development of the first settled communities and writing systems, typically from around 3000 BCE to 500 CE. It is characterized by the rise of complex civilizations that laid the groundwork for much of modern society. Here is a detailed explanation focusing on the core characteristics and major civilizations. Characteristics of ancient civilizations. The transition from nomadic hunter-gatherer life to settled, complex societies is known as the Neolithic Revolution. Civilizations that emerged shared several key traits. Advanced cities, large, dense populations, served as centers for trade, administration, and religion. Specialized workers. Food surpluses from agriculture allowed people to pursue jobs other than farming. Artisans, scribes, soldiers, priests. Complex institutions. Government. Centralized rule, often led by a monarch or king/emperor, to manage large-scale projects like irrigation and enforce laws. Religion. Formal, organized religious systems, often polytheistic, with professional priests and monumental temples. Record-keeping. Development of writing systems, e.g. cuneiform, hieroglyphics, to record laws, taxes, history, and literature. Advanced technology. Innovations in agriculture, plows, irrigation, construction, monumental architecture, metallurgy, bronze and iron, and mathematics/astronomy, calendars. Social hierarchy. A rigid class structure, typically with a ruling elite, king, nobles, priests, at the top, a middle class of merchants and artisans, and common farmers/laborers and slaves at the bottom. Major cradles of civilization. The earliest civilizations emerged independently in fertile river valleys, which provided water for irrigation and rich soil for agriculture. 1. Mesopotamia, the Fertile Crescent. Location: between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, modern Iraq. Often called the cradle of civilization. Key peoples/empires: Sumerians, Akkadians, Babylonians, Assyrians. Key contributions. Writing. Invention of cuneiform, one of the earliest known writing systems. Law. The Code of Hammurabi, Babylonian. One of the first written legal codes. Technology. Invented the wheel. Advances in mathematics. Base 60 system, and astronomy. Political structure. Organized into independent city-states, like Uruk and Ur, before being unified into empires. 2. Ancient Egypt. Location. Along the Nile River Valley, Northeast Africa. Key contributions. Architecture. Construction of the pyramids and elaborate temples, demonstrating advanced engineering. Writing. Developed hieroglyphics. Science. Developed a reliable 365-day calendar, significant advances in medicine and geometry. Government. A highly centralized state ruled by a pharaoh, who was considered a divine king. Beliefs. A complex polytheistic religion centered on the afterlife and mummification. 3. Indus Valley Civilization, Harappan Civilization. Location. Indus River Valley, modern-day Pakistan and northwest India. Key contributions. Urban planning. Remarkable, well-planned cities, Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, with grid systems, sophisticated drainage and sewage systems, and standardized brick sizes. Trade. Extensive long-distance trade networks, including with Mesopotamia. Writing. Developed an undeciphered writing system. Note: this civilization largely disappeared around 1900 BCE, for reasons still debated by historians. 4. Ancient China. Location. Along the Yellow, Huanghe, and Yangtze rivers. Key dynasties: Xia, legendary, Shang and Zhou. Key contributions. Writing. Developed a complex written character system. Technology. Mastery of bronze casting during the Shang dynasty. Philosophy. The beginnings of key philosophical traditions like Confucianism and Taoism during the Zhou dynasty. The classical world, a later phase. The later period of the ancient world is often dominated by the classical civilizations of Greece and Rome, which built heavily upon the foundations laid by the earlier civilizations. 5. Ancient Greece, circa 800 BCE to 146 BCE. Key contributions. Government. Developed the concept of democracy in Athens. Philosophy. Home to foundational thinkers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Culture. Origin of Western literature, Homer's epics. Drama, tragedy and comedy, and the Olympic Games. Science. Major advances in geometry, physics, and medicine. Political structure. Primarily organized into independent city-states, polis, later unified briefly under Alexander the Great. 6. Ancient Rome, circa 753 BCE to 476 CE. Key contributions. Law. Developed a comprehensive system of Roman law that forms the basis of many modern legal systems. Engineering. Master builders of roads, aqueducts, bridges, and monumental structures like the Colosseum. Government. Transitioned from a republic to a massive empire. Language. Latin became the root for the Romance languages. French, Spanish, Italian, etc. Enduring legacy. Its collapse in the West is often used to mark the traditional end of the ancient world and the beginning of the Middle Ages.